Welcome to Dajobnik, your command post for clarity and perspective.
Chair now recognizes Mr. Sheff for his opening statement.
Chairman Smith, Chairman Mast, Ranking Member Wild, Ranking Member Crow, members of committee, thank you. On October the 7th, terrorists breached Gaza's border with Israel. The result was catastrophic. They raped children, women and men, burned families alive, beheaded and murdered. They abducted babies and the elderly. 132 are still being held in dungeons in Gaza. And we know that UNRWA
Gentlemen will
employees...
suspend for a moment. Gentlemen will resume.
Thank you, sir. We know that UNRWA employees took part in this massacre. But these were not a few bad apples. Rather, the institutional barrel is rotten. How do we know? We know by researching UNRWA's educational infrastructure. In it, textbooks teach that Jews are liars and fraudsters who spread corruption, which will lead to their annihilation. Students are taught about cutting the necks of the enemy, that a fiery massacre of Jews on a bus is celebrated as a barbecue party, that Dalal Mughrabi, who murdered 38 people and 13 children, is a role model. UNRWA educates that dying is preferable to living, that becoming a martyr will be rewarded in heaven. First graders are taught the alphabet by learning the words for attack and martyr. And fourth graders are taught addition by counting martyrs. These are just a handful of examples of incitement which runs like a thread, a strategy, throughout the Palestinian curriculum which is taught in UNRWA schools. And our research shows the same violent, jihadi educational materials are created on a large institutional level by UNRWA staff. One of our reports confirms that at least 100 Hamas members who carried out terror attacks in the past were educated, celebrated by being part of the UNRWA system. And the stark truth, given that over half the schools in Gaza are UNRWA run, is that the majority of the October 7 terrorists are more likely than not to have been UNRWA school graduates. And make no mistake, the terrorist barbarity is cheered by UNRWA teachers. Another of our reports reveals dozens celebrated the massacre on social media. These extremist views go way behind a handful of individuals. Rather, they are endemic to the institution. UNRWA staff are previously found to be extremists, from school principal Suhail al-Hindi of Hamas's Politburo to convicted terrorist Saeed Siam, 23 years, an UNRWA teacher. And Impact SC has warned for years about the consequences of this hate education. And I ask you, what can UNRWA possibly offer the next generation of Palestinians? Poisonous textbooks, taught too often by extremist teachers? Quite simply, UNRWA is not fit for purpose. But there is an alternative. Elsewhere in the region, the UAE has produced a curriculum that is centered around peace, tolerance, and acceptance of the other. Saudi Arabia has removed practically all the anti-Semitism and violent jihad from its textbooks. Israeli textbooks center peacemaking and feature a Palestinian narrative. Moroccan textbooks embrace Jews, the Amazigh, and they empower girls. Egypt is reforming its textbook system comprehensively. In other words, we look at the region and extremist UNRWA schools stand increasingly alone. It has chosen to teach conflict and violence over hope and over peace. But it is a path we can no longer afford to walk down. One thing is clear. If we want to prevent the next massacre, if we want to dream of peace, then UNRWA can play no further part in Palestinian education. There are alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheff.
Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Dejobnik signing off.